Welcome, Mr. Hopper. Welcome to the For What Review.
Thank you, thank you.
Yeah, welcome. I'm Little Sis since '86, and I'm your host. Welcome. Now let's talk.
All right, all right. So David Hopper, real quick, just give us a brief about David Hopper.
David Hopper is a father, husband, entrepreneur, and God-fearing man from Boston Heights, which is a upper part of Harlem in New York City. And with that, I guess we're getting to the rest of it. For the base, that's it.
Okay. When you say entrepreneur, what business are you in?
I'm in the film, media, as well as photography, and I recently launched a nonprofit called Man's Living Room.
You're getting some feedback from your mic.
Hold on 1 second.
Okay, can you hear now?
No, I think somebody was getting in the car, that's why.
I think y'all should be able to hear me better now.
Much better, much better.
Yeah. My wife had to take it off Bluetooth.
Dave, can you tell me how did you get into the nonprofit community work?
Sure. The nonprofit work is something that was always on my heart. I had went to prison, and in prison I started doing HIV peer education, which is actually educating my peers on the virus, because my mom's contracted the virus when I was younger, and she succumbed to the virus. So in prison, it was just something like, you know what, let me get all the information I can get from this disease, and hopefully it'll help somebody else. And that was basically the beginning of my my nonprofit, my community work.
Would you say, because you said you was in prison, can you say prison changed you or made you a better person, or when you got out you became a better person?
Oh wow, that's a great question. It started inside prison. I tell all my young guys and just people in general, if you wait to change, if you wait to come home to change from prison, you're never gonna change. So it has to start from the inside. The transformation has to start from inside. It starts with a mindset. You change your mindset, and then everything else follows. So I would say, to answer that question, I changed, or prison changed me, or I changed inside prison, definitely.
What were the things that, how you say, made you a better person in prison for you to come out a better person because of prison?
Well, first of all, prison teach you a lot of things. For me, it taught me patience. It basically sat me down. And when, people say that, it's a lot of, prison to sit you down, then make you calm, make you all that. It sounds cliche, but it's actually the truth. Because for me, right before I went to prison, I was actually at the height of my street tenure, if you will. So I was getting a nice amount of money. My arrogance was always on 1,000. So to me, arrogance and some money, it leads to, it can be a negative mix. So going to prison, it stopped me right there, cold on my tracks. And it's just like getting, I don't want to say snatched off the street, because people say, oh yeah, they snatched me on the street. I say we volunteer for these bids, because we out there doing wrong, and we know the consequences. So I was out there throwing bricks, and I got my consequences, and it was sit my ass down for 7 years.
7 years. And then
okay, when you got sentenced, like, what was the first thing that ran through your mind?
The sentencing was, I'm not gonna lie, the sentencing was easy. But the things that led up to the sentencing is where the trouble and the pushback and the grief and the trauma and all that came from, because when I first got arrested, people don't know, you get arrested and you go to court like 3 times. You go to arraignment, then you get, all kind of proceedings. So at my arraignment, they offered me 5 years. Mind you, I was only in jail for like 2 days. So I'm 48 hours in, and they offered me 5 years. I'm like, there's no way in hell I'm taking 5 years. I'm still smelling like pizza and vagina. Like 5 years, it was so far. Like, I could never see that. So I'm like, no, I'm not taking 5 years. And my ignorance, watching Law and Order and all these cop shows, I'm like, oh, they give me 5 now. They're gonna come back with something later. And they didn't. They came back with 8 1/3 to 25, then 10. And then by the time I got to my sentencing, they offered me 8. And I was sitting up for about 10 months. So when they offered me 8, I said, you know what? Let me just take this 8. I'm not gonna play with these people, because I was guilty. I got caught red-handed. So I said, I'm just gonna take the 8. But the day of my sentencing, God was with me, and the original DA wasn't there. It was a new DA. My judge and my lawyer and that DA was cool. The judge was semi-cool. He was okay with it. So they actually gave me 7 years. And then, that's how I got the 7. So the sentencing, it really wasn't, when you get sentenced, it's not like TV. It's like you get arrested and then they say you sentenced to so-and-so time. It's like, oh my God, it's a shock. It's not like that. You go through a process. So that whole 10 months, 11 months I was setting up, mentally, I was maturing. So I already knew, like, okay, this is what I'm facing. I'm facing 7 years, 8 years, 8 1/3 to 25, 10 years. So in those moments, that was the moment, them were the moments that I was really going through it, crying, contemplating suicide, just like, can I really get through this? So that was the problem in them moments, not really the sentence. When he said 7 years, I was happy. Like, shit, okay, I'll take that, because I could see the light. I could see the light at the end of the road.
It wasn't over.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't really over. Can you say in that 7 years? Well, let me rephrase the question. Was it the people in there that worked it that helped you, or the other inmates in there that helped you, or both?
That's good. You know what? In actuality, both, right? Because in my experience, I never been a dummy, right? I never been stupid, if you will. I always had some kind of intellect, some kind of intelligence, and I learned from every experience and every person I'm around. Even to this day, if I feel like I can't learn something from you, I don't want you around me, and I never want to be the smartest person in the room. So with that, inmates and the COs, I learned from them, right? COs, I learned what not to do, right? Inmates, you learn what not to do and what to do and how to do it. And there was some OGs in there that they gave you game. They gave me game. Stay away. It's like rules, right? Stay away from gamblers. Stay away from gambling. Stay away from the bisexuals, and stay away from the bubble, which is in my book. Meaning stay away from police, because once you get affiliated with police, then the other inmates is gonna look at you a certain way, then that's gonna cause more problems. So those are basically the 3 rules that they gave to me. And with those 3 rules is the rules that I pretty much use to navigate through the whole system, through my whole bid. So yeah, I learned from each aspect. Each prison I was in, I learned something. Each person I was around, damn near, I learned something. It was just a learning experience. It's funny because before I was in prison, used to hear people say, "Oh, I had to go to school, right? I went to college." Like that's the cliche thing. Oh, I went to college, meaning that the person got locked up, they went to prison. But it's actually a learning facility if you use it that way.
But you're going to learn something, either the good or bad. You know,
Definitely.
definitely in jail. Would you say you became, because before you went in, like you said, you was very ignorant to the street stuff like that. You ain't want to hear nothing. You making some money. You know what I mean? You go in jail. You can't. You can still do that, but you decide to say, nah. Let me see if I could focus on going straight. So when I get out, I'm not gonna run back to that. You know what I mean? You see what I'm
Yeah.
getting?
No, definitely. It was my first incident that really I had two incidents that really pushed me to the positive side. The
Mhm.
first incident was I was I was probably in prison, not jail. Like I got transferred up into prison, to New York State Prison, and went to a Mohawk Correctional Facility. I saw an inmate giving a CO a haircut. So I'm like, that's kind of weird. Like that's what happens up here. So one of the guys said, "Yo, that ain't nothing. You're gonna see more." I said, I can't rock with police like that. I'm giving them a haircut. That's crazy." Then like a week within that week, I seen somebody else give a police a plate of food that he cooked. Mind you, we starving upstate.
Okay.
It's not easy to get money on your books and to eat good. So you giving your food to the police. I'm like, yo, these dudes is crazy. So I said, you know what? I'm about to press homie. Right? This is how I'm looking. I'm like, he getting food to police. Somebody gonna get pressed. I'm in here starving. Something gonna happen. So one of the OGs, he was talking to me. He seen it in me. He like, yo, I'm gonna tell you this. Once you start your bid that way,
It's over.
you're gonna have to maintain that through your bid. He said, you'll come down at some point, but for the most of your bid, you got to hold that. That's who you gonna be. So I said, oh fuck. Like I ain't thinking, I'm just thinking for the moment.
Mm-mm.
And when he said that, I sat down on my bunk, I thought about it, and I said, you know what? That's really not, because even in the street, I ain't no stick up robber guy. Like, I'm a drug dealer. But I was a drug dealer. You mess with me, then I had to handle my business. But I wasn't just the guy to go out and do those things. So I said, let me fall back and play my position. So that one thing was like a wake up call about dealers in prison. And then in the same dawn, within that month, I went to the bathroom to take a shower, and I got in the shower. Somebody comes, they banging on the side of the shower. They like, yo, who in there? So I'm like, it's me. No, I don't know you. Like, you don't know me. It's me, right? So he said, yo, you skipped me in the shower. Long story short, I come out the shower. His towel is hanging on the side. That's how I used to mark who's next in the shower. But I'm new, and I don't know this. And prison is a culture under culture. It's like 10 subcultures in prison. So the thing is, you put your towel on the shower and that you're calling next. But I didn't know that and I didn't see it. So I go in the shower. So basically, me and that guy, we about to get into it, but somebody basically pulled the guy coattail and was like, yo, he a newbie. Like, he don't know no better. You know what I'm saying? So they basically let me live. And I come to that, I'm like, damn, I could have died over a shower. Right? Like, and that was that right there. I was like, hold on, man, this shit different. Like this is what I want in my life, like for the rest of my life. And I don't see how do it 3, 4 times, 2, 3, like nah. So from that point, them two incidents and a couple other minor things, but for the most part, at the very beginning, I was blessed to have these incidents. Of course, it straightened me up. It opened my eyes to what prison could be like.
Are you from the same neighborhood where you got locked up from?
Nah, actually, that's ironic too. I got locked up in Yonkers. I'm from Washington Heights. Like I said, I'm from 155th, 156, 157, Amsterdam. Um, I moved to Yonkers to give my kids a better life, right? And I go up there and shoot somebody and catch a case and have to leave my kids alone for 7 years. So how crazy is that?
Wow. Once you left, where you was Wow, that's deep. That's a story to tell. That's a story to tell. Tamika?
On another note, where did you find your love for film? Where does your love for film come from? Like
Um,
film and cameras.
yeah, that actually came from my mom's. My mom's is a freelance photographer. Growing up, my mom was dead nice in the arts. She drew us a life-size Smurf on the wall by hand, painted. You know what I'm saying? Um, my mom's went to a fashion high school. If y'all are familiar with fashion, you gotta take the test and all that to get in there. My mom was dead nice with the arts, and just watching her growing up, watching her do things. Like my mom was an entrepreneur before entrepreneur was a thing, right?
Mhm. Okay.
So that's really where my camera love and the arts and all that came from. Just watching her, being around her having the camera all the time, and showing me little things, and that was basically the start of my camera love.
And what made you combine the two?
Like the camera work and the nonprofit stuff, the community work. Basically the camera work, it actually helped me. It actually saved me because no matter what I was doing in the street, I always had a camera. I always had some kind of video camera, some kind of camera. I was always writing poetry. I was always doing something in the arts. So where other kids my age didn't really have an outlet, that was my outlet. So once I came home from prison, I realized, like, hold on, what can I do? Well, I asked myself, what can I do to help other kids that was in the predicament I was in from the same area that I was in? And now that, the schools are being rid of the extracurricular activities, I'm like, let me put something together that can help some kids. If it's one, two, three, five kids, I can, get off the sheet for an hour, showing them the camera,
Mhm.
showing them how to write a script, to show them that it's something different. And it's cool, right? It's cool. It's cool to know these things. And that's where it all came together at. Like just wanting to do something for the community and
Mhm.
something that I was good at, that I loved. And I said, you know what? If it helped me, as bad as I was, right, as a youth, and it kept me grounded in some way, I'm sure it can help somebody else, help another kid.
How long have you been out?
Um, Actually, it's 10 years this last month. Yeah, 10 years last month. I came home 2012, August 2012. No, July 2012. So a little more than 10 years.
In those 10 years, can you honestly say, I'm comfortable who I am now than I was back then?
No, 100%, 100%, 100%. Um, Before I got locked up, even when I came home, when I first originally came home, even though I had knowledge, maturity, um, self-confidence, it was still a little bit of, okay, who who am I? I got a poem called "Who Am I," and it basically talks about, like, it asks the questions like, who am I? Like, oh, I'm a son. Who am I? No, I'm a father. No, who am I? And it really digs deep and, like, who am I outside of all of these things? Who am I? What makes up my person? And coming home from prison, I was still a little off kilter because I'm this new person in this
Mhm.
old world. So
Mhm.
who am I? So it took me a couple years. Even though my wife, my friends, they laugh at me because, like, I wore plaid, I wore big clothes. That first year or two coming home, like, I was still, you know, trying to find myself.
Mhm.
So maybe I say 7 years since I've been home, I became comfortable and I learned who I am and what I have to offer to the world.
Tamika?
All right. And what is your thoughts on how to get the youth off the streets?
That's a good question. For me, I see a lot of the guys now, like, they have these what they call credible messengers. If you're familiar with, like, SOS, like Save Our Streets,
Mhm.
these guys are credible messengers. It's another organization uh, called True to Life. They got violence interrupters, and these guys, they basically go around when the crime happens, a shooting, some kind of violence happens, and they try to get people from retaliating, or the scare straight tactics. They talk to the kid, they yell, they scream. But for me, I believe, like, everybody get reached a certain way, but I believe talking to these kids and showing them that you love them and there's love out here, that alone penetrates through all the negativity and the hate and all that stuff, because they see that if you're genuine, that you genuinely care about them and their well-being, they'll let down their guard and they'll listen. And that's really the only thing we need is 2-3 minutes for them to really listen.
Mm-hmm.
And you can speak life into them in that 2 or 3 minutes. It'll help them in the long run. And that's what I look for and what I do. And when it comes to telling the kids, telling the youth, bringing the youth in, if you will. I just try to show them love, and that it's a different way.
In your opinion, being from Harlem, I'm from Harlem myself, with these young youth, right? What's so hard for them to say, I'm going to stay off the streets? In your eyes, what's so hard for them to say, I don't want to be out there no more? What's so hard in your eyes for them to say that?
Oh, it's going to always be, it's, in my opinion, I believe it's always going to be peer pressure. It's always going to start with peer pressure. And now I call social media the new peer pressure. And it's worse, because now it's not only Lil Johnny from down the block that got the new Nikes on. It's Lil Henry in China with the new Nikes. Everybody, so to you looking on Instagram, you looking on Facebook, you see, quote unquote, everybody got it. But it's generally the people that's on your timeline. So it's definitely peer pressure. Peer pressure keeps them going back to the streets. And that's where I step in at with the nonprofit, with the Nana's Living Room, and just my credible messenger work, where I'm in the streets with them, and I'm there trying and working to guide them out of it and let them see that there's other opportunities out here. And you know what? You can go hang out, but you don't have to hang out on the corner. You don't have to hang out where negativity is at. You don't have to hang out where the drug selling is at. You don't have to hang out where the big OG is telling you to hold a pack. Nah, you don't have to do that. There's other places, other opportunities. And I'm the person standing in the mix, showing them that there's another opportunity.
Besides
you know what? I have a question.
Mhm.
You said Nana's Living Room, correct?
Nana's Living Room.
And how did that name come about? Nana's Living Room.
Nana's Living Room was a combination thought process from me, my wife, and my partner that actually co-directs the organization with me. It came about because basically what Nana's Living Room is, if I ask you, right, I'm gonna answer your question, but just quickly,
All right.
if I ask you, what do you think about when you say Nana's Living Room? You hear Nana's Living Room. 9 times out of 10, people are gonna think of comfort, home cooked meal, safe space, right? Something positive. And that's what we want to build, something positive that anybody and everyone can come and feel safe and have something, can gain or learn something. Because you go to Nana house, right? Nana gonna teach you how to sew. She's gonna teach you how to cook, right? She's gonna teach you how to think. You dig? So that's what Nana's Living Room basically is. But our initial project, our initial program is film and media, teaching the youth how to use film and media to write their own narrative and deal with the problems of the world today.
Wow, that's deep.
And how do you think Nana's Living Room can impact the community?
I believe by basically being there, right? Because once you're in the community and you show that you're a positive force in the community, it's gonna spill over. So being in the community, that impact, like I said, we snatch up, we do groups. Our groups is anywhere from 6 to 20 participants. If we get the least amount, we get 6 kids, right? 6 people. one of them tell somebody else, like, yo, I went to Nan's living room, they had the dope, something, they gonna tell somebody else. And that's how we gonna impact, one at a time, by word of mouth.
Wow. I like that. Tell us about this book.
My book,
Moments.
Moments, Writing Thoughts and Letters of a Two-Time Felon. Long title, but it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically a mixture of stories that I lived through in prison during the 7 years, poems. Most of my poems, I'm not saying most, all of my poems are truth based. It might be some exaggeration here or there, but the premise, they all came from truth, from a truthful space. So the book came about because I wanted to actually do it as a 3-part book with my co-director, which is, his name is Craig Williams. Him and another brother, I had asked them to do the book with me, but neither one of them want people to know they're, really be that vulnerable. So they just told me, yo, go ahead, now you do it yourself. Like, we're not doing it. So I went in my paperwork and I found all these old letters and poems and stuff. And I just started writing. And I came up with that. And that's how the title really came about, because I really didn't know what the title was going to be, except Moments, because I knew it was going to be moments, compiled moments of my life. And then I said, you know what, let's put all this stuff together. So that's how they got the Writings, Letters of a Two-Time Felon, because I want people to understand that I am a 2-time felon. And just because you have 2 F's on your jacket doesn't mean life is over for you. So the book is basically a talking piece. I use it as a conversation piece to talk to the youth and talk to the community, to let them know that I am the motivation. I like to call myself, I'm like walking inspiration, because you read the book, the seven years that I did, everything that's in that book, some people come back to me and say, I can't believe you went through that. Or I can't believe that happened. Now, mind you, that's only 7 years. It's guys that are doing 10, 20, 25. And then I went to prison when I was 32. So the life I lived from 7, being a man child, till I was 32, all that trauma, everything that I dealt with from 7 to 32. So the book is just a piece where I use to get people talking and open up dialogue, and then we can attack the traumas and the social ills that's going on in today's world. And I'm just here to try to assist somebody and help them get through their day.
Can you say in those 7 years can relate to these kids on the street right now, that they can make a change on who you is right now?
Ask me that again. I'm just broke up a little bit.
Okay, you did 7 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
You came out and you became an entrepreneur. You really did. I mean, you got your book, you got your filming company, you're an activist. When a young kid comes to you and say, can I do it? What would your words be?
Absolutely. I believe anybody can do anything they put their minds to. And that's one of the things on social media. I love when people say, yo, social media is full of garbage, it's full of negativity.
It's not.
But social media, your social media page, anyone's social media page, is considered at your house, right? So only person on your page is who you invite in your house. So you say, oh, social media is full of negativity. That's because that's who you're following. You hit like, you go out and search for this. Me, no, I don't do that. It's only positivity in my life. It's only positivity on my page. I only let positivity in my house, on my page. So when the kids say, oh, can I do this? Can I do it? Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Look around. There's people doing it. Look in front of you. Look at me. Right? This is what I tell them. Look around. Then I say, look at me. Right? I'm the guy that you can be. And you can be better than me because you're starting at an earlier stage. Now you're gonna take the jewelry I'm gonna give you, and we're gonna manifest your dream. And that's what I tell them.
Is it, would you say to them, is it hard work?
Oh yeah, definitely. Once you get into it, it's definitely hard work. I do I'm glad you said that, because I don't want anybody watching this or hearing this, especially the youth, that think like, oh, he did it. It's a, it's quick, it's easy. No, it's not. See, the thing is, they gotta deal with them 3Ds: dedication, determination, and drive. Right? You gotta have the drive, the determination, the dedication to do it. You gotta have that hunger. Because you want something doesn't mean you're gonna actually get it. Because you just can't stand there. You can't sit there and wait for it to come. That's not gonna
Right.
happen. You have to go get it. So the thing is, know what you want, make a plan, and then follow the plan. And 9 times out of 10, you're gonna get it. And I read a book, right? There's a book I used to read called The Secret. And it said, Rhonda Byrne, I think her name is. It said one of the jewels was, if you in your mind think, desire in your heart to get $1 million, and you get 999,000, are you gonna be mad?
Hell no.
Right. So
Hell
that's the
no.
same thing. That's the same thing when it comes down to us regular folks. And you say, I want a job that pays 60,000, and you get a opportunity and it pays 48, 52. Well, take that opportunity and then make more of it. See, that's the thing. We look at the source. We look at the resource, not the source.
That's right.
Right? I just heard that in church this morning.
That's an old saying.
I'm always, as I said, I'm always around taking jewels. So when I feel it's a jewel that should be kept and shared, then I'm gonna do that. So it's definitely hard work, though. To go back to your question, it's definitely hard work, but the reward is gonna be definitely worth it.
I think the reward is you trying, because I see a lot of people. You mentioned college. Just because you go to college doesn't mean you're going to be rich and famous. And
Correct.
it doesn't mean when you graduate, you're going to be in that field. You know what I mean? There's a lot of people I know for a fact got degrees, beautiful degrees, but they're doing something else.
That's right. This is so true.
Because you got to live, right? You got to take whatever. You just said it, you got to take whatever. So everybody can't be a star. Everybody can't be rich. Just be comfortable and grateful for whatever you got. You know?
Grateful. That's a fact.
You gotta be grateful. Another thing about your book is called Moments, and you said there's moments in your life that you wrote in the book. Could you give us an example?
Well, the book is basically take place through the 7 years. So one moment in that is I spoke about my mother having HIV, contract HIV.
Right.
So this moment in the book is where I first started able to talk about it openly. I never really talked about it to nobody until I went to prison outside of my family. Even in my family, it was like taboo, right? Nobody wanted to talk about it. But when I got in the prison and I got into the program, they asked me why did I want to do it? Like, why did I want to, become a peer educator? So I said, it's for my moms, and I ain't really understand what HIV was. So I want to know for myself, and I want to, give this information to everybody else. So he said, all right, cool, no problem. Come to the class. So I came to class. I learned everything, right? And now I'm talking about I learned everything. At least I thought I did. So for you to get certified, you had to go through a verbal test. So before you get to the verbal test with the state, the facilitator, he calls you into the office and he says, tell me what you know, and he battles you. Y'all go back and forth. So he want to make sure you're on point.
Wow.
And I go in there and I'm feeling myself, my cockiness, and I'm going there, I'm just reading off the stuff, right? Bam, 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 and this and that. And he's like, okay, cool. So he started asking me questions. Then the team started asking me questions. I went in there, my ego was so large. By the time I walked out, I was like Ant-Man. But the great thing about that moment is that the facilitator, Trini, he saw that it was getting to me, right? I was wearing my emotions on my sleeve. So he saw I was getting frustrated. So he told everybody stop, told him break out. Me and him stayed in the office. And he went back to why I wanted to do it. And I said, I told it for my mom. So he said, listen, you can learn the information
Mm.
But if you don't involve yourself with it, it's never gonna work. So that moment is the moment where I start taking things serious. Not just, oh, I learned what a medication does. It was, why does the medication do this? And this is like, everything is a puzzle, and I had all the pieces. There was no way I was just gonna send you or show you the completed puzzle. I was gonna break down every piece of the puzzle, and that moment is the moment that really opened me up to being a facilitator, community person, an activist, and just sharing my story. That's one of the major moments that really opened me up, where I'm here now and I can actually talk about it, because I believe my story can actually help somebody else.
Did that situation affect your life, her having it? Did it affect how you react with people, been around people, anything like that? Knowing she had
Um, it did and it didn't. It did in a actually in a positive way, because her having HIV, it made me realize that anybody can get it. Because before that, this was early too. This was early. This was 90. I want to say 93.
I knew you gonna say that. Yep.
Like 93. It was early. So people say HIV. It was a death sentence. It was like, oh no, don't be
Mhm.
next to me. And. So the little bit that I knew that you couldn't catch it just being around somebody. Like, I was with my mom's every day, slept in the bed with her. You know what I'm saying? Because I was a mama's boy. So at 16, 17, I'm laying in the bed with her. You know what I'm saying? We chilling, we watching movies. So that alone made me realize, like, it's not what people think it is. So it changed me in a way that it actually opened me up to be more friendly and be more open to people. And then on the flip side, my mom's caught it. She contracted it from needle usage. She was a heroin user. So at one point, when she passed away, I despise all heroin addicts, right? Because even though she contracted it, she didn't die an addict. Like, she was clean for damn near 6 years, and that's what happened. She was clean for like 4 years, and she like, yo, I keep getting sick. Like, this shit won't leave. Like, I'm going to the doctor. She went to the doctor. They did the test. Came out positive. So for me, at that time, especially when she died, I used to look at other heroin addicts and people that use, heroin, and I'm like, oh, y'all weak. My mom's is strong. Y'all not like my mom's. Like, I used to really despise them, and they actually got me to go to prison and learn more information, become more humble and non-judgmental. You know what I'm saying? So that whole situation definitely changed my life. It changed the direction of my life, definitely.
Tamika?
Wow. Let me ask you, do you feel that you get your like family support from your wife and from the family, your immediate family?
Um, yes and no. And the thing about support is, it's not it's not guaranteed. It's
Mm.
not old, I would say. The support from your family is not old, and that's one thing I like to tell the youth too. And they say, yo, my brother, my cousin, my auntie, they don't even be sharing my stuff, right? Yo, they don't be liking they don't even be on my page. It's not for them to be on your page. It's not for them to like your stuff, because it's your vision. So nobody's gonna see your vision because God gave it to you. So the support, I appreciate it. Do I want it? Yes, absolutely. But if it's not there, this is the part the brother was saying, where it's hard, but you have to keep going. You
That's
have to keep going. So I appreciate the support that I do get, and the support that I don't get, I don't dwell on it, because then that's wasted energy. So my immediate family, my wife, she's my rider. Um, Even down to my kids. My kids hold me down, but it's it's um it's percentages, right? Like today, to this week, my son might be going hard on social media. He might be telling people about me, right? Next month, he won't say one word, right? He just like, yo, Pops, what's up? Yo, do this outfit look good? What should I wear with these sneakers? What, right? Don't say nothing about my movement. But then the next month, my daughters might be going crazy, extra heavy. So it's just the way of the world. It is what it is. So I appreciate every piece of support I get, and I always let people know how appreciative I am because support is not old. So even with you reaching out, little sis, it's like thank you. Like I appreciate it so much. So much
Right.
so like I tell people, yo, thank you, and I let them know, like I remember what you did. They're like, yo, it's not for that, you know. But I want them to understand that it's not taken for granted because in actuality, somebody helped me, right? And I say, oh, okay, cool. I minimize it. So now the person that helped me, he might feel, or she might feel slighted and say, you know what, I ain't helping nobody else. This
Oh, that
motherfucker's an
happens a lot.
asshole,
That
right?
happens a lot. Yep.
So this is why I go above and beyond, let people know, hey man, I appreciate it. The thing that you did for me, thank you. Hopefully I can pay it forward and do it somebody else, and you continue to keep doing what you're doing, and together we can build a better world.
Wow, that's deep. Could you share this with these youth? Um, you are a black man who did 7 years and became a hell of a man, family man, father. You know, I don't know if you got. I can't hear him. You still there?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Oh. I lost my train of thought. Family man, father, and entrepreneur, book writer, film. Wow, that's deep. It can be done. It can be done. It doesn't matter what you did in the past. It's what you're gonna do now. You know what I'm saying? Because not only you did your time and everything, but you, as we speak to you, more intelligent. You know what I'm saying? More humble. You know what I'm saying? And I'm pretty sure your wife and your kids like, wow, that's my husband, that's my father, and proud of it. You know what I mean? I
Yeah,
think we need a lot of that. We need a lot of that, you know, and that's what the what review is all about. To let people like you show it can be done if you really want to do it. If you do want to become a better person, better man, a better woman, it can be done.
that's
So,
the key right there.
you know, it can be done. And that's what we want to show. And in your opinion, right, on your book, did you write that book or someone helped you write the book?
Nah, you know I get that question. You don't know what I get that question a lot, right?
Yeah,
Because of just the way things are laid out, how things go in
right.
entertainment and that world. So it's like you sit down, you tell somebody a story, and they write it and they compile it. Like, nah, I wrote every word of that,
Wow.
and
I'm,
I actually have a. I'm gonna lie. That might be a fabrication because I didn't write every word, but every word came from my thought. See, what happens is I have a 5-step plan on
mhm,
how to write your book. So how to write a book in 5 steps, self-publish. And one of the things is that you actually don't have to write it. You can
I know
actually
that.
talk. You can actually speak
Mhm.
it,
That's right.
and it transcribe the words. So that's I wrote probably last the last portion of it. I wrote um through transcribe through audio. But yeah, I definitely put it all together. The cover, everything with my creation, down to the colors, how the book is set up, the format, everything was me. I did all of that myself. Um, Even down to the publishing, like the self-published. Even though I say Math Creations, but Math Creations is actually the publishing company I created, and the Math is actually my children's initials, MAPH. We spell Math MAPH. Misha, Arnita, Pudums, and Hershey, which are my children's names.
Wow.
So yeah, everything with the book I wrote, I put together.
And we got 4.7 stars on this. Great book. Must be a great book. You know, I'm definitely going to check it out. She sent me the link. I'm going to copy it. You know,
Oh, thank you, thank you.
I'm definitely going to copy it. I got it right up. Just so you I ain't bull crapping it right here.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Right here. But on this last note, can you share something that you're doing right now with the youth?
Right now, I am actually doing the Path to Greater Heights, which is the program I spoke about. We take the kids in, we take them in, and we tell them to write an essay about what is success, and hopefully we get them to say, my thing, I want them to say in there somewhere that I do anything for success, or something outlandish they do for success, and then that's my gateway. That's my way in.
I like that. I like that.
That's my way in to
Okay.
actually break down what you would do for success, integrity, and respect for yourself. And then off of that, that's where we go. And then we teach them about the film and everything. So that's what we're doing right now, Path to Greater Heights. As well as, I'm out and I'm actually, I don't know when this is going to air, but within the next week, we will be doing our first back to school giveaway, supplies and things of that nature. So yeah, that's what we're doing. We just
And
one
where
step
where
at a
where
time.
you gonna be having that at?
We're not stationary. We got our strategy. We so different out here. Nana's living room. Everything we do is gonna be innovative. We're gonna work to be innovative in this space, in this community activist space. So what we're doing is, once the last of the donations come in, which we're taking donations because this one is funded through our pockets. We don't have a grant yet. But what we're doing is going to the shopping areas in the city, which is going to be 125th Street, 116th Street, the La Market, Fordham Road, as well as 3rd Avenue, 149th Street. So
Wow.
what we're going to do is go to them areas with the packages, go to the little stores where the parents buy the school supplies, and then randomly ask, hey, are you going to get school supplies? Yes, here you go. This is a package from us. And that's how we doing it. So we're going to be in them 4 places from the Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday before school starts, because it's going to be definitely them last minute people that's like, the check just came or they really don't have it. So they waiting to see what can happen for them. So we want to be there to help in that moment.
Wow, that's deep. And what's the donation site?
Right now, I literally just finished setting up the website. It's not even live yet, but it
Okay.
is nansliving.org. But for donations, you could Cash App Media Works Good. That's hold on, I'm gonna give you the correct, because one got hacked, so we don't want people to send money there.
Wow.
So Media Works Good, MEDIAWORKZGD. Media Works Good. It's the correct one because the cover of my book is actually the thumbnail. So I say Moments, David, and then Media Works Good.
I'm going to donate.
Appreciate it. So what we do once we get all the donations, we're gonna tag everybody that donated. We'll probably do the live or record when we go to. We either gonna go to Target or Staples. One of my other friends in Staten Island has another little spot that he said does bulk supplies and stuff. So whichever one that we feel we can get the most out of our buck for, we're gonna go there. We either do live or record it, then share it with the people and let them know, show the receipts, let people know that we actually spend the money on the people, because it's a lot of times that, and I myself, I've engaged donations and people say they doing something, they doing this, and I never hear from them. But it's not for me, you know what, I send that money out for love. So you do something wrong with it, then that's on you.
That's
But
right.
we just here to be transparent with it all the way around.
All right, David Hopper. Wow, amazing. I want to thank you, man, because you a filmer, a media with books. I mean, activist. Woo. You remind me of me.
Appreciate that. That's a big deal right there.
And another thing, you just keep continuing to do the good works that you do,
That's
and
right,
you will
man.
continue to be blessed.
For
Oh,
real.
thank you so
And I'm
much.
going to trust me. I'm going to pass this information to people. You know what I mean?
Please,
Definitely pass it on
please.
to people. I want to thank you again, David, for coming on the For What Review. You know what? Let's do this a few months later to give a little cap up of where you at now and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
That'd be great.
On your
That'd be
journey.
great.
We want to be updated on your journey, man, and we want to take the journey with you.
Oh, so much thanks. Appreciate that. I appreciate that so much.
No
And
doubt.
just to lastly, I didn't touch on it much, but definitely with all this going on, I actually do public speaking, motivational
yeah.
speaking. So if you have any kind of setting that you think needs to hear the story or needs some words, please plug me in. And right now, I hear, I'm in the loop, so I know guys be like, oh, I get paid this, I get paid that. I'm at a space now where I know God is gonna bless me. So you have any spaces, I volunteer the time. I just want to talk to the people, talk to the youth, and let them know that, hey, look, look in the mirror because I'm you, and
You know what? Say
there's
your
a way
social
out.
site. Say your social site.
Oh, my social media is I am David _unstoppable. That's on Instagram.
Definitely.
Most of everything is gonna run through I am David _unstoppable, as well as Nana's living room on Instagram.
Unstoppable.
Unstoppable, yep. _unstoppable. I am David _unstoppable. And then Nana's living room. That's the 2 sites. Everything's gonna be running through there.
Got it.
And then Facebook is David Hopper.
David Hopper. Yep, got you.
Yep.
Thank you again.
Oh, and another thing, one more thing. Your wife, she's a photographer also, right?
Yeah, my wife is dead nice. I ain't even gonna hold you. My wife is
All right.
wife dead nice with that camera. She
Right.
knocked me out.
I see.
I taught her what I knew because I'm the video guy. But like I said, with my mom's, I did photography. I love photography, and I taught her what I knew. And just in the last probably 6 months, she's surpassing. Like I could, I got her with the techniques of the camera, like
Yeah.
knowing the camera, but her work, the quality of her images, smoking mine. I ain't even gonna lie. And she
Right.
just did a wedding
I've
Saturday,
seen some of her
Friday.
work.
Yeah, she just did a wedding Friday. And those pictures, she just learned some new things in the last month, and she implemented what she learned to the wedding Friday, and she came back with the images. I told her, I was like, I'm kind of shook now. She said, why? I said, because I don't want to shoot after this now.
All right.
Yeah, she's great. And she's angles and shots photography. That's her page, angles and shots _photography. But any one of my pages, I'm linked to her. Like it's all in the loop. Like it's all about the network. So it's not you go to one page, you're definitely gonna figure out a way to get to the other page. We'll make sure that.
All right. Thank you, man, so much, yo.
Thank you.
This is Almighty Q, the For What Review with David Hopper. Thank you. Tamika?
Appreciate y'all.
Peace.
Peace. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right.